A very good morning to you. Welcome to Jam 316. My name is Benjamin Wakam, sitting in for James Okumu. We are live on both Family Radio 316 and Family TV, the station where the music does the talking. Welcome to the Monday devotional hour, Monday motivational hour. And today I have with me Joseph Kabuchi. He's a pastor. They call him Pastor Dingo, and you want to hear this story of how he's beat the odds to be where he is to be today and to be the man that he is today. And that's why I was asking in the previous hour just on radio, have you been in a situation in life, have you been in a place in life where you had to bounce back from literally being zero to come to the place of becoming a help to somebody and influencing life, touching lives and things like that? Have you brought yourself to that place in any area? Most of us are just thinking probably it's in one area or a specific area. I don't have a story to tell concerning this and that. No, I'm just asking, in a place in a specific area of your life, what did you do? How did you bring yourself out? You hit rock bottom, you were right there, you had nothing to begin life with, and now you are where you are. So what are some of those principles, some of those things that literally lessons that you learned, things that you did that literally changed your story completely? All right. And so Pastor Joseph is here with us. He's going to be sharing with us his story. We're supposed to have a couple that had been together for 21, not actually being together for 20 years, but they were married for 21 years without a child. For 21 years, they were married without a child, but we're just having connecting issues with them. We're not able to get that for you today and right now, but we still make sure that we get them on board right there and then. Welcome to Jam 316. My name is Benjamin Wack, and I'm sitting in for James Okumu. You're live on both Family Radio 316 and Family TV, the station where we're keeping Jesus on the airwaves. So I had asked us a question. How would you bounce back? Is there an area in your life that you bounced back? You were literally disadvantaged. You didn't have a way out. There was nothing literally to your name, but you just had probably you believed in yourself. Probably you changed. Probably anything that you did that's changed your life completely and made you a new person, and it began you on a trajectory of winning. What is that thing? I want to know, and also some of the principles that you applied or used that have made you become that successful. So I have my guest today, Pastor Joseph Kabuchi, a.k.a. Countryman, a.k.a. Pastor Dingo, and so glad to have him. I mean, this guy is from the streets, beat all odds to come to the pulpit, and then he's gotten out of the pulpit again and back to the streets. And this time round, he's not just going there as a victim of it. He's going there to pull others out. He's involved in a number of things. He's helping the street children with some of the challenges that they may be facing. And now he's also a musician, a singer, and a pastor. And we just want to know about this man. I mean, there's so many people that have been beaten down and they never get to rise up again. And I think it's really something to celebrate when we have people in our lifetime that have literally beat the odds, beat the time, and are here with us. So please talk to me on 20316. That's the SMS line, and 0786316316. That's the WhatsApp number. I just want to hear your story. I want to hear what are some of the things that you did that have brought you to where you are. What are some of the steps that you take? All right, Pastor Joseph, man, how are you?
Hi,
karibu sana Jam 316, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so good to have you. I will say my first encounter, place nilikuwa na first ilikuwa, it was on social media. Yeah, so that's where I first saw you, and then I went and read the story for myself, and I never thought I could ever meet you, although online, but it's such a pleasure, man, having you. Karibu sana.
Asante.
All right, so probably utuambie tu who's Pastor Joseph?
Pastor Joseph is that's a name when I'm wearing a suit,
yeah,
an official outfit.
Yes.
They call me Pastor Joseph. Mm-hmm. But now when I'm in the streets, they call me Pastor Dingo. Mm-hmm. Dingo means thief. In Cheng. Pastor ambaye ni mwizi, but a righteous thief who goes there to steal people from the kingdom of darkness to the kingdom of light.
Wow. Wow.
Yes. So, and then now Countryman is a stage name when I'm doing music. And yeah.
Ni country
So that is
music?
me. No. Countryman is someone who doesn't go to the cities. He's always in the ghetto.
Hey, yo.
Yeah.
Man, that's strong. That's strong. I like the branding. So,
Yeah.
Pasi, how did
Yeah.
you end up in the streets?
Yeah, my life started in a high
Yeah.
when since I had my parent who was responsible, paying the school fees, everything, and good food. But unfortunately, she died. She was a single mother.
Yeah.
And when she died, now I was left to be taken care of. I was left in the hands of my grandmother, who later rejected me after my mother's burial. That and she told me that I don't belong to them. It is my mom who belongs to them. So I suffered rejection after my mom's burial. That's when now life started beating me up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So instead of taking care of me, they left me where my mom used to stay. She used to stay in Kawangware, and in a one room. So that's where now life changed.
Yeah.
I didn't have someone to guide me on what is right and what is wrong. For me, I admired people who used to smoke and blew. Is it below and blew? Blew the smoke out of their nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
so
looked
I
cool at the
them.
time, eh?
Yes. So I wanted to be, and of course, I needed this sense of belonging. I also needed to become who I was. I wanted to become an adult. And as a teenager, that is the point whereby I wanted to find myself.
Yeah.
So I had an issue with my, identity. So for me, I didn't have role models, people who would take me through the right way, so that I don't become a mess to myself. So I desired those people who would smoke. I desired these people who would take marijuana and drink, because it looked cool at that
time,
moment.
yes.
So I got into it. I first started rolling tea leaves because I thought cigar from the tobacco inside, because they used to send us. So that thing that was inside was majani ya chai, tea leaves. So I thought, even me, I can be able to do that in my house.
Yeah.
Because I was alone. I experimented, and
you were how old at the
that
time?
was not the right thing.
How old were you at the time?
12 years.
Wow.
Yes. So at that time, when I did that, it wasn't cool. So it brought headaches and cough. So I thought, this was the wrong thing to start with. So why don't I go to the real thing, the cigarette? So I bought a cigarette. At that time, I was working, and the person that I working for used to pay me 5 shillings a day. Nilikuwa nakata kuni. That is why I would call someone. Yeah, so they used to pay me 5 shillings, and out of this money now is when I started buying cigarettes. And this was in class 5. This was in class 6, and by the time I was in class 8, I was already an addict. Because in class 7, I started using marijuana. Everyone around me used marijuana, cigarettes, and they were drinking.
Yeah.
So those are the things that I would find even without money. So when I was in class 7, I would be able to find a bang. I would smoke marijuana. And in class 8, I was already an addict of illicit liquor.
Wow.
Alone. I was not doing well in school, since I was going 2 weeks in school, 2 weeks missing the classes. 2 weeks in school, 2 weeks. At this time, I was being sponsored by a program called Compassion International. They were taking care of orphans. So I was in church, but not really in church, because I was so much in the world.
Yeah.
So they used to pay my rent, buy my food, and also pay my school fees. So by the time I completed class 8, I was already lost. out of in addiction. Yeah.
Because I'm just thinking, akukwa na mzazi, there was nobody to show you go this direction, but at least everything was provided for. But you really needed guidance. There was an issue of rejection, acceptance. There was an issue of identity. So basically, children around that age, that's literally what they need. Yeah, and I'm assuming that's still what you're offering to the people right now on the streets.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and
then exactly. At that point is the time whereby people can mess their lives or build their lives. So it doesn't matter if they get money or good education. Sometimes all they need is proper
guidance,
proper training in life and guidance in what is right and what is wrong. Because we want to find ourselves. That's why we want to know more things. We want to be adults.
Yeah.
That's where it comes to the issue of self-esteem, self-value, self-concept. Those are very key thing to be at that age. From now, the parenting point of view, I would think that's where they should start. And you see, most of the kids nowadays, they don't have parents who are available.
Yeah.
So the only thing that is available is the phone, the social media, and the friends around them. The peer pressures.
Yeah.
So all those things actually makes a person.
Yeah,
so from me, that time, go on.
So literally what you're saying is that, somebody can be in the streets missing the same things that a child in a well-brought-out home is also missing. The parents are not available. They're just left to themselves, but they've been provided for. Once in a while, mzazi anakwambia, usishike hiyo, wachana na hiyo, Wow.
Yes. So it happened. So that's, of course, I wanted to go on with my education. So I went to the Mradi, this project of helping people, Compassion International. I went back to them. I told them that I needed to go on with school. I still desired to carry on with my education. So I went to them, and that's what I told them. So they said we can only pay half of the amount of the school fees of the school that you find, but the rest of the money can be paid by your relatives. So I asked them where my relatives were, where they were living. So they actually gave me the direction, and I went to Nakuru where they used to live. I found my grandmother, who repeated the same statement. They told me that I don't belong to their family. It's my mom who used to be theirs. So I pleaded with them for a long time, and I cried to them, and they decided to take me to a school. They took me to a school named Lake Nakuru Secondary School in Nakuru. It was another version of rejection because they dumped me there. They actually did a shopping of 21 shillings. My first time in school and in boarding school, the shopping that I had only shopping for 21 shillings. That is shoe polish and a toothpaste. So I became a thief there.
Yeah.
So I turned a thief, since those other students would come with good stuff. And I would steal from them. And from that point, I became a different person even in class. So I was later the money that they were supposed to pay, they didn't pay. So I was later chased out of the class. Now I'm unable to access the lessons because I haven't paid the school fees. That was in Form 1. And now I was able to access food, but later the administration knew it, and then they blocked me from now the food. I was able to access the rooms, but later they knew about it, and then they blocked me out of now the dormitories. But I still had a way in, and I sneaked in out of the friends would help me get in at night during midnight. That's the time that I was coming in. So later the administration also knew about it, and they blocked everywhere where I can access even the dormitories. So there was a neighbor somewhere there who used to be a caretaker of unfinished house there. And he gave me a place to sleep. And he used to sell marijuana. And he told me that I cannot be there for free. So I need to work for him. I started selling marijuana to the students. The administration caught up on me, and I needed to run away. So when I ran away, I went to a place called Bondeni in Nakuru, where I learned much of pickpocketing. I learned much of gambling and much of drugs, the things that I didn't know. So they added more knowledge.
You're right.
On the negative.
Yes,
and when I was in
Go ahead.
And when I was in Nakuru, I was this guy who was lost, and I was overwhelmed by emotions. I was an angry man, a bitter person, and fortunately, I found my uncle in town there as I was walking. I met with him. We attacked him. We were 3 guys, and we removed one of his tooth and one of his eye.
Pasi, shikilia hapo.
Yes.
We've got to come back and just look at your life now on the streets. But that has just been quite a story. I mean, it's just how something innocent can happen in life and everything just runs, spills out of control. And that's literally the story of Pastor Joseph, aka Countryman, Pastor Dingo. He goes to the streets and he steals the souls for Jesus. Quite an amazing story, and we still want to listen to this one. But I always say that the presence of God is the only advantage that you have in life, and sometimes you don't even have to know that things are going on well. You just have to know that Jesus is there with you, and that is enough. It doesn't matter how low you go, as long as he's watching over you. And like Pastor Joseph Mankush, the street pastor, the countryman, he's telling us today, the same way he's telling us today, that God is literally with you. He's watching over you, even when you by yourself, you might not know, and you're just going through the motions and the waves of life. Please talk to me on 20316 as the SMS line, and 0786 316 316. That's the WhatsApp number. We'll be so glad to just sample some of your stories, lessons, and everything that you are getting. If you have any question or any contribution to make towards this conversation, you can still do so by sending it to 20316. That's the SMS line, and 0786 316 316. All right, somebody's saying, this is David from Nairobi West. You're saying, morning. Wow, I'm touched by Pastor Dingo's story. Man, I'm also wondering what happened to his dad. All right. Somebody else is saying, thanks for the encouragement. I'm encouraged by today's motivational Monday. And we are literally grateful to Pastor Joseph for just coming through. Pastor Dingo, he's over there. He's our guy. He says he's a countryman, and that means that he does not go to the city. Yeah? He's a man that just goes to the hoods to bring those souls to Christ. And I don't think personally I can be able to do what you're doing, man.
Yeah. We have different gifts.
I don't even know how I would begin preaching to somebody on the streets of Nairobi. Yay! Atikam kwa Jesus, unajua love ya God. Eish, yeye nataka special grace na waseka wewe, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were talking, and you were saying, you're talking to us about your school life, alafu vile ulitoka, and then you came to where that place that you went, where they taught you pickpocketing and things like that.
Yeah, Nakuru Bondeni, into Bonde.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned, and that's where I met with my uncle.
Yeah.
Who we beat him up, and we removed one of his tooth and eye.
Mm-hmm. Hey.
I was charged Nakuru local na grievous harm. So a well-wisher who knew about my predicament came in and bailed me out with a lot of money. So, and they gave me a place to stay.
Yeah.
They gave me their own place. This is still a school life. I'm still a student. So they gave me a place to stay in their place, a place known as Phase 2 in Nakuru. And they took me to a new school called Afra High School. So in Afra High School, I little bit did, good. My first, this is now in Form 2.
Yeah.
I did good in class, but still I was using cigarettes and marijuana. Those
Yeah.
are my favorites.
Mm.
And in Form 3, the case of grievous harm was withdrawn after 1 year of it being in court. It was still a case that was active,
ongoing,
but it was, yes. And then after a year, it was withdrawn, and I completed my high school, knowing that mimi ni ule mse, and I knew that I was the bad guy. Actually, I was the bad guy. I've been in and out of school. I've been suspended. I was suspended many times in class, in school, everywhere. Like I was there because of. I think God was also involved. It's because of God that I was never expelled out of that school, like the other one.
But Simi, I want to ask you. I want to ask
Yes.
you: are there people that really stood with you, and others that gave up on you? You know, because I come to you and I'm trying to help you. So I understand that, yes, you are an orphan and you've done this and this and this and this. So I come, I pay school fees for you, I get you off the streets, I give you a place to stay, and then bado unaendelea kufanya vitu zenye unafanya. You know, the way it can be, you're trying to change someone and somebody does not want to change. So you give up on them, you throw your hands on and say, basi acha kae.
Yeah, that's why me now have become a different person. I'm actually a man of many graces. I give you one chance, many second chance, third, fourth, many as much as many.
Wow.
Because I know there is hope for a living dog than a dead lion.
Yeah.
So the people that came in my life, they are still not good people. You see, for me, I had the emotions part was part of the problem.
Okay.
The suffering I've suffered as a kid, the rejection, the pain that I've been costed. You see, I didn't know. You see, the time that now I went to the second school is the time I knew that my grandmother was actually rejecting me because they had money in my mother's account. They wanted to take my mother's money. So the reason I have suffered all this through is because someone wanted the money in my mom's account.
Okay.
They needed to keep me out of the equation. And they were exposed me to pain just because I was the rightful inheritor of the money.
Yeah.
So they needed me to die. Actually, that is killing me. But they never killed me physically, but they were killing me.
Yeah.
In a different way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
So that case was withdrawn when I was in Form 3. I completed the fourth from high school. Came to Nairobi. Nairobi, I found the hood guys, and we created a group known as Matenjo Base, people who don't shave their hair. Matenjo Base. And we start mugging people.
Yeah.
During the day, during the night, and then during the day tunashinda tukikunywa pombe, which was called mokorogo. Mokorogo is mixing water with ilikuwa inaitwa mafuta ya ndege, and we mix that one and we drink.
Hey.
So at this time, I didn't have a place to stay. I was being hosted by friends. And these friends, you see, I was a thief, and they had parents. Parents would care for them. So they would be advised, you guys don't be careful with that person, now me. And they decided even to chase me out of the place. I was given a place to sleep, but now they would say, now we can't host you anymore. Our parents are complaining, and they would chase us both. They would chase us both. So I would rather remain and chase you. So I'd go to another friend. It was like that, like 7 places. At this time, you see, I was still a high, and already I have now graduated from now drinking and using marijuana to now prescription pills zinaitwa Atain, whereby I would put some prescription pills into inside the changa, and then I would drink, and now I'll become high double. So yes, and now I started living outside. Because I didn't have a place to sleep. And this time also, the effect of alcohol and drugs was real, because my face became dirty. You see, I didn't value, morality, the language, all bad stuff. So I would now sleep in somewhere outside in the cold, just a place where I cannot be rained on, but it was still raining, and I lived there for 7 years. Wait. 7 years was hell on earth. Yeah, I wouldn't shower. Kulikuwa na chawa, chawa, that's a rhyme. So the lice. People, I would fetch water for people. They would pay me per jerrycan, 5 shillings. And the women that used to cook changa, to brew changa, they are the ones actually who gave me that job. And others would pay me with the drink. So they made me even more worse.
Yeah.
So I became so skinny. My hair, my everything, my face, health deteriorated, and I became like someone who can act horror movie without makeup. My physical appearance changed kabisa. And every person was afraid of me, and I wouldn't even shower, and I would sleep with my shoes on every night, even during the day. So my shoes would smell even when I'm wearing them. When they're inside of me, yes. And at this time, a friend came. They were not friends. They were enemies. They wanted to kill me. So they threw a stone on me when I was sleeping, and they injured me. I was another friend who was. It was at night, midnight. I don't know what how that came to be. That there was a person who was passing by who happened to hear me crying and screaming somewhere, and he came for my rescue. And he was the guy who was feared in Taani. So when he came, those guys saw him, so they didn't want to give a chance, so they ran away. At this time, I was bleeding heavily. And so many people came outside, and then they helped me. So they knew I was the guy who was about to be killed. From there now, my attitude changed, and I knew that these people are not good people. They want to kill me, so I must be protected before they kill me. And I have to revenge. So I bought a panga, and now I was ready to revenge. And I met one of them. There was this phrase in the ghetto whereby we usually say that when you chop a person's ear or somewhere in the ankle, that's
yes, it's very much okay.
Yes, when you go to prison, even for 10 years, when you come back, you'll be the guy who has won, since they don't have one ear or they are limping.
There's also saying in the streets.
Yeah, that was a saying in the street. So we didn't care. So for me, I started now chopping the ear, because I knew they would take me to somewhere. Yeah, but they would fear me. I wanted to afflict fear. So they took me to prison. Their family took me to prison, in the Australia prison. I went there for 8 months, and then I came back. The same life faced me. I didn't have a place to live. People would buy you food for a week, and then the other week you are on your own. And I found that prison life was better off than being the other side. So I decided to cut another person. I went back to prison, and when I went to prison, now this life was different there. I was even nicknamed a name, Losty. Losty means that you cannot do. You are lost. You are so lost that no one who can come and visit you here.
Wow.
Like, you don't have people to visit you here, so you are someone who is dumb. You are lost. So there, instead, I became so rough, and a name known in the street, Mahuru. I became a Mahuru. And after coming out of now it was another 8 months, I came out of prison, now knowing that now I need to finish this life permanently, the life that I'm living. So I went under a tree and I wanted to commit suicide. So before I commit suicide, I had some questions to ask myself. When I die, where am I going? Hey. And I knew the method was wrong.
Yeah.
So I needed to find the right way, the right method to kill myself so that I don't miss heaven. That was the point. And then the second question was, what if I commit suicide, I hang myself, will I feel pain? And I have seen so many people like hang themselves, and the way they looked, it didn't look so cool. Experience was painful.
Yeah.
So the third question was, what if another person kills me? Would my sins be transferred to them? I had issues with my sins. The thing that made me not kill myself was my sin, because I knew if I go somewhere when my sins are not attended to, then I have to face hell. So I tried all those questions so that I can be able to transfer. Actually, the third question was, I wanted to transfer my sins to someone. So we used to think that when a person kills you, your sins will be transferred to them. So I knew the good people are police. It ended up on what abusing them, the bad ones, so to them, and then I'll go to heaven. So that was a good one. I went to them. Instead of them killing me, they beat me up, and then they left me there. So I didn't die that time.
Wow.
I was committing suicide. I didn't die. I went to the police thinking they'll kill me. They didn't kill me.
So life had basically made sure that there's nowhere you're going, you're staying here. But it's such an amazing story, just talking to Pastor Joseph Kabuchi, aka Countryman, aka Pastor Dingo. You want to hear his transformation story and what he's doing right now with his life. I don't know how low a person can go, but you've not been as low as he's. I mean, he's just even gotten to the place where he is alone. So please, if you want to be a part of this conversation, 20316, that's for SMSs, and 0786316316, that's for the WhatsApp messages. Somebody's saying, good morning. I trust that you're well, very inspired by the testimony. Somebody else is saying, kindly share your number. We're going to do that with you just to make sure that you can be able to reach Pastor Joseph, Pastor Dingo. I mean, I'm telling you, we are all graced differently. There's just what other people can do. There's what others can do that others cannot do. And I'm so glad to just have him in studio. He's going to be telling us how, his life, at the point where his life turned around, and how much steps and progress he's made and where he is right now. Somebody's saying, wow, what a story from Pastor. One thing I have learned is, in this life, are you building someone or destroying them? Are you building someone or destroying them? Because I think from your story, Pasi, we can have guys who are literally trying to make sure that your life is moving forward, making sure that you complete school and things like that. There's the other guys that are literally just driven by their own greed and things like that. All right? Somebody else is saying, what an inspirational story that in. And I'm just glad that you're blessing people right here. Yeah, so tulikuwa tunaongea, you said now you had started, getting to the place where you wanted to take your life, but hata hiyo ilika imekata. Yeah, because of the questions you're asking yourself, whether you transferring the sins to somebody else and things like that. Yeah.
Yes, I didn't have a right person to transfer my sins.
Yeah.
So even the church never, they used to tell us, oh, take your sins to Jesus. So, a little too poor. But they themselves, their lives never reflected the Jesus that I wanted. So the representation of Jesus in their life, I wasn't really cool, because they became so religious that I hated even that God. So, yes, so... where I was I? So I was
the place where you wanted to kill yourself. Yeah.
Yes, so I never died. I went to the police. They beat me up. Sikukufa. And since I wanted to die, I joined other gangs who will be easily killed. And these people were thieves, drug, peddlers, prostitutes. They were around in one place. And there are always ambush that would come there, the police ambush. And sometimes they will be shot, sometimes they will not, sometimes they will be arrested. So I thought this was a best place for me. When I go there, I probably be the one who will be killed that day. So I never died. Two will be killed, two, like the rest will be surviving. And I know, and the rest will be now me also. But at some point where I got a gun after one of the deals went bad of some guys, they were killed. So and I took their gun where they used to hide it. And we were 3 guys, and we were about to steal M-Pesa shops, and we stole. It was now the time it was in a camp. And yes. So many guys were killed at that point, and then for me, I knew I do want to die that way now. I saw 3 guys who were shot. They were killed by the police, and I saw how they died. So for me, I knew, this is not the kind of death I want. This is not honorable death. So I sold my gun, and after I sold it, as we were 3, I'm the guy who took the huge amount. But the rest, the next day I had nothing, since I was already an addict. So I went back to default setting, remained the same guy, sleeping outside, dirty, nothing. You see? Yes. I used even to wonder, how do people get into houses? How do you live in a house? How can this be possible even in my life? I always wonder how that be possible. So after selling the gun, I still wanted a place to fill my emptiness. I went to Mongeke. I joined Mongeke, that is in Dagoretti. I became one of them. But I was there for the wrong reasons. I was there for
brotherhood, community, relationship.
Yes. And also to get some to feel something. At least I don't remain as alone I am.
Yeah.
I was, because I was so lonely. No one who, you see, when you sleep hungry, tomorrow you can't go and cry to someone. When you don't have anything, when you are sick, you are waiting for people who can come and help you, but you still get even healed without even going to hospital.
Wow.
I have so many injuries. Like even here, I have a cut where someone wanted to chop off my neck, my head, but he missed. But it got me in the chin down here, and I still have that injury. I never went to hospital. Actually, I put there, someone told me to put tobacco, and from tobacco, some foolish way of medicine myself.
I'm sure Leona kwa movie. So, Pasi, what was the turnaround for you? What was the turnaround?
The turnaround wasn't easy. There was this organization called Maisha Poor Center. It was a street children project whereby they called us and told us to create a group so that we can be doing some income generating activities in their center. We did that. But I was chased out of that place. I didn't have a place to go. But a missionary from Finland who had started that organization is the one who took me to a rehabilitation program.
Okay.
He took me to Teen Challenge of Kenya, a Christian discipleship program. And that was in 2010. They told me, when I got there, they told me now in rehab, they told me there is God in the morning, Jesus in the afternoon, Holy Spirit at night. And I was, when then you go. And since I was once a Rastafarian, I was also a Mongeke. So I knew Jesus, but I didn't want Jesus that I told you they represented. They told me, no, you just be here. We're not going to force you to do anything. So they gave me a Bible. And there were other courses there, group studies for new Christians, personal studies for Christians. And these materials would speak to me. I knew how to read, of course. So these materials would speak to me. They would help me understand the love of God. And I knew that God loves me despite of how I was. And I read a verse says, still when I was a sinner, Christ died for me. So I knew this is the Jesus that I wanted. I knew that he loved me unconditionally. there was no reason that would made him not love me.
Mm-hmm.
Now from there, I needed this Jesus who would love me the way I was.
Mm.
And after 3 months, you see here, chapel is every day. This is a rehabilitation, a faith-based one.
Mm-hmm.
And we have chapel every day. Every day is a chapel day.
Mm-hmm.
So 365 days.
Yeah.
No, it's like your radio.
Yeah.
65 days.
Yeah.
Radio 360. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I needed to like God was taking me back so that He can recondition my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I've been so conditioned to think that everyone is the same.
Yeah.
The way I was treated, the way I was brought up, the experience I've gone through.
Yeah.
So I knew that people can never be good.
Mm-hmm.
I only knew only one person who was good, and this was that missionary who took me to that rehab.
Wow.
So when he took me there, that was 2020. So I got saved after 3 months. That was in December. That was 2020 December.
Mm-hmm.
Even I remember the date was on 20th of December 2020.
Mm.
That's the time someone preached about the love of God again. I was missing love.
Mm.
I wanted that emptiness to be filled. But even in that place, although I was reading, but I knew I was lost. I was lost if I don't. I knew I was lost if I don't give my life to this Jesus that they were usually preaching to us all through the chapel time. So I went to Jesus. I was saved. I was prayed for, confessed my sins, and everything. I thought it would be okay immediately. I was still the same old guy with the same language. I was so abusive, in the streets in Tani. But they told me it's a process. That's why I needed to be there for a year, because the program runs for a year. Mm-hmm. And this was my third month. Mm-hmm. So I still had some other months for me to be transformed. So after coming out of the rehabilitation program, I didn't know where to go, since I didn't have a relative or a family. Mm-hmm. Someone just took me in, someone who had changed from the street background. Mm-hmm. So he knew about the street, and he had this one room where I used to live with him. Mm-hmm. And I still had desire to go to Bible school. Mm-hmm. A missionary from Kenya Assemblies of God had gone to States, and he talked about my life, and he talked about he talked about my testimony and how I desired to go to a Bible school. Mm. So he found a sponsor for me. I went to East Africa School of Theology. Mm-hmm. I did Bible and theology and biblical studies.
Yes, studies, yes.
Advanced diploma. Mm. Yes. Bible and theology, of course. Bible and theology. I did it for advanced diploma for 3 years. Mm-hmm. I didn't have a place even to go. Mm. I was living in the campus. I was paying everything there. After holidays, even after the school goes for holiday, I would remain there. Mm. So that was my place of living. So I was in Bible school for every day I was there. Mm. And this is the time I used to reach out to people around there. Mm. I still needed to reach out to my friends because that was...
All right. We just seem to be having a bit of a delay over there, but it's such an amazing story from countryman Pastor Joseph himself. Pastor Dingo, he's literally going to the streets and just getting the people from the streets coming onto this other side. Ma'am Nate, you're saying, I thought I had a story, but this is a movie. However, of late I've learned to stop feeling sorry for myself and understand people better. I mean, look at how far this guy has just come. Look at what he's been able to do with his life, from that place of disadvantage literally to the other end where things are working out for him. And he's just an amazing person. If you want to get in touch with him, I'll be sure to connect you. Some of you are asking for his number. We're going to do that. I will just let us go for this hour still. You can catch up with with me on Radio 316.
For this and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.